All right, we are recording, and it is December 6th, and this call is kind of titled, I guess, Reality Check, um, just kind of based on the feel of the whole team and what's going on right now. So before I get started on that, I am going to go through a couple of announcements. We did used to have an override for consultants at the consultant level. It was 4%. That will be reinstated starting in January. So the first check that you'll see that reflected on will be in February. Everyone on this call should not really have an issue with that because everyone on this call will be a manager by then. But just so you know, you can tell your new consultants confidently and without lying, like I have, that starting in January, they will get 4% override from their team or anybody that they sponsor that is a consultant. So yay, that was actually a thing, and then they redirected it into a different type of bonus thing, and then I think the sponsoring went down, so they're putting it back, which I really like because I like that people are able to make money before they are a manager. I think it kind of sets Arbonne apart from other companies, kind of gives us that little extra something that people might be looking for because people are coming into this business to make money. So that's a way to show them how they can make money right off the bat. We have started the trip incentive. And actually, if you were signed up in August, any volume that you had, if you are not a manager, any volume that you had already counted toward the trip. And then this month, everything that you do is doubled toward the trip. They will have a counter or a tracker that'll be on the website. And it's not available yet, I'm sure you've seen, but it'll keep up with all your numbers and everything for you. I do tend to look at mine myself and keep up with it myself too. Just in case anything were to happen. Obviously, you want to catch it. The computer is not perfect, and it is possible that mistakes could happen. So just be aware of kind of where you stand on that. And if you're just totally freaked out by the numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like not happening, don't think like that at all, because like I said last week, I didn't even hit a district maintenance number the November before starting the qualification for the trip that I actually earned. So definitely don't count it out. I know the numbers seem crazy, but if you really think about it, if you end that as an area manager that's bringing in 15 to 20,000 every month, and I know that too probably seems a little crazy, because right now you're just trying to get to the first level, or you're trying to maintain the first level or whatever. But it's really not. If once you do the things required to earn the trip, like sponsoring and stuff that we're supposed to do all the time, you'll build into that. So don't count it off. Definitely try for it. Don't just think, oh, I wish I could do that. Actually try to do it, and you'll be surprised at what you can do. And just be confident with it. It is just an extra motivation to build your business, because they're rewarding us for doing literally what we're already needing to do anyways to build a business. So it's pretty cool. Then also we do have 3 district managers in qualification, I think, unless I'm missing anyone. But we have Brittany, Morgan, and Talia. So congratulations, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So reality check. Whenever I signed up for Arbonne, I kind of thought, it was kind of like getting on a roller coaster. I had listened to so many stories, and they said I was at this level for this many months, and it took me this many months to get to this level, and this many months to do this, and yada, yada, yada. And usually a lot of the stories you hear are the ones that are just crazy, like Cami Lee, who got a Mercedes in 6 months, or Debbie Neal, who got one in 72 days, and you're just like, that's kind of who you compare yourself to. So I got on this ride at the amusement park of life called Arbonne, and I just thought, well, okay, I'm signed up, so after this amount of time, I'll be a district manager, and then time will keep going and I'll become this. Well, And some of you may be sitting there like, well, duh, but you do actually have to work for those things to happen. It's not really like I've been in the company, I've had an ID for however many years, and people just started coming to me. That's not ever really probably going to be your story. So, anyways, I have had my current ID for, I think 4.5 or 5.5 years. I don't really know. So I don't consider that my calculator because I had no idea what I was doing. I'm definitely still counting off of the calculator that started whenever I became a district. So we're saying 2.5 years. But anyways, if nothing else, then thinking about the fact that I've had that number for that many years should only motivate me to hurry it up. But anyways, so I had that number, and the years before I actually got serious about my business, I had, I think, 4 parties over the course of like 2 years, and it just like I could not understand how people like became district managers. Like I just didn't get it. It blew my mind. So it took a shift and a change for me to understand how that happened. So for anyone listening right now, just so everyone knows, you're all like way ahead of where I was at that time because I was just really lost and confused. But anyways, it took a little bit of a shift in my brain when I went to GTC 2.5 years ago. So, and everybody on here is actually signed up. So, anyways, it was really important. You can hear a million different stories, but just one specific person's story may speak to you differently than other people's do. So it's good. I know from the outside looking in, it's probably like, why do you listen to all of this stuff? It's like they say the same thing over and over, and to an extent, they kind of do. We do talk about a lot of the same things over and over, but sometimes it just takes hearing it a certain way from a certain person before you kind of understand it for yourself. So anyways, here's the reality check. The reality check for me was that you don't just get on this ride and you just automatically hit the checkpoints of each promotion level, because if it was like that, everyone would do it, right? So no matter what your goal is, it's going to take effort. If you're wanting to consistently, keyword here is consistent, if you're wanting to consistently make $500 a month, that's going to take some effort to build it up to a spot where you can maintain it, and maybe do a little bit less activity and call with follow-up orders, reorders and stuff like that. It is going to take some effort to get that started and get it going and get it solid to where you can depend on it. And then obviously to make $5,000 a month, that's going to take effort to get solid and get good where you can depend on that as an income. That takes work. Both of those take work. So it's not like, now I'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, if you are into Arbonne for the travel, the unlimited vacation days, being debt-free, having a strong savings account, making a lucrative income on part-time hours, spending more time with your family, being able to take actual trips, have less stress financially, and so much more. These things are actually possible. The thing is that you have to work for all of those things. So when push comes to shove, or whenever, you want to cry and you want to quit, think about all of those things. Are those things worth it to you? What are you after with Arbonne? Because if all you had to do was get an ID number and sell a few things, then everyone would do this. People wouldn't quit. This is when people decide to quit. And somebody put it good earlier. Let me find my phone. Crap. Anyways, I'll find it in a second. But anyways, so whatever your goal is, here it is. It is going to take effort. It's going to take time. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Okay. Anyways. Let me see what this. Okay. Sorry. I just got a message from Morgan that said she couldn't hear me. So I was trying to make sure that she could. Anyways, so a lot of people think that they're going to do their launch, they're going to sell a couple of things, and then they're going to be golden. And that's how it's all going to happen. And that's not the case at all. And there are even launches where people don't even sell anything. That would be terrible, right? I've been to them. They're awful, but and it's pretty impressive whenever somebody can have one of those and still move past it and still want to do this, because the evidence isn't really there. So sometimes you have to ignore the evidence. But when success is the only option, things will come a lot easier. You won't beat yourself up as much over things, and you won't try to reinvent the wheel so much if you are just in it no matter what. And I've always heard the quote, "Don't quit on a bad day." That for sure is true. Don't quit on a bad day, but take out the option to quit. Make this the only option. That really speaks a lot to me because before I had really started the 2.5 years ago, I was finishing up college with my teaching degree, and I'm telling you, once you have trained your brain to like go off every time you see a white Mercedes, you cannot untrain it. So let me just tell you, even if you decided to quit tonight, every time you see a white Mercedes, you're going to think about Arbonne. And that's not really that cool whenever you're not trying to earn one. So what had happened for me, I was finishing up school. I would have a teaching degree. And I was just thinking, about what I would be making, and Levi's income combined. And I was thinking, like, I was settling is what I was doing, because I was sitting there thinking, we'll be able to live pretty good. We'll be able to do this stuff. We just won't be able to really do anything too crazy. I had really made it, I was really trying to, I guess, make the option of not doing it okay. Because it's like once you know about Arbonne, you can't walk away from it. Once you know what it can do for you, you can't really just easily walk away from it without thinking about it all the time. You know about it for a reason. There's a reason that you're here. There's a reason you know about it. There's a reason you're trying to do this. So I was kind of trying to justify in my mind how it would be okay to quit. And then once I realized that that's not the kind of mentality that you want to have at all, I kind of got rid of that. And I heard Stacy Thorne, who does our meetings in Tulsa, she said, and she probably says this all the time, but one time it just went through my brain and I was like, oh my gosh, duh. And she just said to close the back door. So if you think about it, you're in a room and there's a front door and a back door. You have two ways out. You can take the front door or the back door. But let's say the back door is quitting. If the back door is not there, you close it, you lock it, you can't go out it at all. The only way out of that room is through the forward door. So you move forward, basically. And I don't know, that really resonated with me for some reason. But once it's your only option, then you look at things a lot differently. Whenever it's not something, if you still have your other job or you're not dependent on Arbonne, it's a lot easier to quit. But if you close the back door and say, I can't quit no matter what, I have no other option, then you're going to treat it a lot differently. And that's kind of the way that I am now, especially after having not worked for the last year, and I guess probably about a year and several months. And especially since I have a baby now, I can't, I don't know. Sometimes I have those doubting feelings come in and I'm like, well, I could go work. And then I'm like, no. I mean, I just can't. After I've experienced life and freedom like this, I just can't. After spending my time working really hard for a few years, 9 to 5, I can't just walk back to that and walk away from this opportunity like that. So let me find where I am in my notes here. So a lot of the issue is that we live in a society that we want instant gratification. Even with a regular job, you go to work and you're within 2 weeks, you're going to start getting a paycheck probably. But sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that with Arbonne. Chris Weilert, who is in the partnership of Chris and Amy Weilert of Arbonne, they are ENVPs. And he posted on Facebook a few weeks ago and said, being an entrepreneur feels like you're in a rough, abusive relationship for years, and then you hit the jackpot. And then his hashtag says, it takes years, not months. And that speaks a lot to me too, because just because one person did it in a bunch of months doesn't mean the average or most of us do it that fast. But it did require work. It did require letdowns and all kinds of things along the way. I mean, just a couple of days ago, Brittany Slaughter and me and her and Hannah were all talking about something that happened to her specifically a few years ago. And it's just like the things, people just do some dirty things. And we have experienced some crazy stuff since we've started this. And that's true. You kind of do feel like it's an abusive relationship because it's not always butterflies and rainbows. Sometimes it's hard and you want to quit. And maybe you don't want to quit, but it just sometimes downright sucks. But if you think about the end goal, first of all, cruising in your Mercedes and your leather seats, you're not, whenever you can go out in your garage and cry in your Mercedes, it makes it a little bit easier to be heartbroken over something. But anyways, some of those days are going to happen. It's like you can't have the great things without those things along the way. It's like those little things. I posted one today. It shows like success, what you think happens, and it's a straight line, and then what really happens, and it's a crazy line that's all wadded up. So for me, what I'm after is the financial freedom. I don't know what it's like to first of all, I don't know what it's like to shop in expensive stores. And it's not like I would make a habit out of that, but just knowing that I could that would be like, I've never had that in my life. So I would like to have that feeling, or to not be like starting to sweat whenever, I've got to pay for a certain thing, or, I need new tires and I need my oil changed and I need all this stuff. It all comes all at once, right? So to not have to sweat whenever all of that stuff starts coming up, and, to be able to let my son do the sports he wants to do, and be able to take him on trips and see things and send him to the school he wants to go to if that's what he wants to do, like all of these things, to spend more time with my family, to make Levi be able to spend more time with us eventually. All of these things are the things that I have to ask myself, okay, am I really going to let the fact that somebody kind of did me dirty and signed up under someone else, am I going to let that get in the way of all of those things? No, absolutely not. It's going to be totally worth it. We won't even remember a lot of that stuff once, we're used to living a little bit differently. But anyways, Brittany also pointed out this quote earlier, which we've heard several people say, and it is really true. And it says, you don't go to region, you grow to region, which can actually be said for any level. Now district, that is a little bit easier. But as far as growth, definitely anything beyond district does take growth. It's not, you can hear people crunch the numbers all day long, and you can go out and you can get the numbers, but it is going to come back to bringing people onto your team and helping them succeed too. But anyways, this is kind of backtracking a little bit. Sorry, I should have drawn an arrow. But on the days that you want to quit, or when quitting would be easy, think about it like this. Going to a job every day is quote unquote easy, but is it really easy? And then I sat there because I've been out of working for so long every day that I've kind of forgotten what it was like. And it seems like it wouldn't be that bad in my mind. But then as I was writing notes, I started to remember waking up early. I don't like to wake up. It doesn't matter what time it is. I don't enjoy waking up. And I was waking up and needing to be at work by 7 whenever I was still at the bank. So waking up, working all day. If you happen to not get along with everyone you work with, then that just adds a little bit more negativity to the day. By the time you go home, you're tired. Doesn't matter if you sit at a computer all day or you walk around all day, you're tired no matter what. It's crazy. I don't know how it happens, but I know it because I've done both. You are, you live for the weekends. I mean, how true is that? Everybody's always ready for Friday. You dread Sunday nights and having to work on holidays and stuff like that. I had to work on Christmas Eve at the bank. I had to work on Christmas Eve when I worked in retail before that. So really last year was the first time through the holidays that I wasn't working on a lot of those days. So these are all just adding to the reasons that it's worth it for me. Whenever you're talking about your business, especially when you're getting started, own it. And I mean, obviously you own your business, but own it. If you're kind of like beating around the bush and you're like, yeah, because you know people are looking at you like you started one of those things, be confident with it. Don't say, if it works. Don't even say that to me. Like, well, if it works, really, what are you doing here? Because if it works, it's not going to work if you're saying if. You got to make it work. Or if you're telling your friends, well, I'm going to try this and see how it goes. Everyone that I've ever heard say that is no longer doing Arbonne. So you don't, I mean, whenever you tell somebody else that, you're telling yourself, it's okay if I quit this. It's okay. And technically, I'm not going to say it's okay if it doesn't work, because it does work. They didn't work the system. So no, it didn't work. But anyways, so close the back door. Make it the only option, and it will work. We have heard from too many people who said all they did was the system for success. Does it happen immediately? No. Are there MVPs right now who had no one on their team but themselves for 6 months before? Yes, that has happened. But then once they start getting a paycheck rolling in, it makes all of that totally worth it. I think it was Linda Parker, and she's like in the top 10 income earners. She had monthly meetings at her house, weekly meetings at her house for a while whenever she had first started. And obviously at first people weren't showing up, but she was talking about, she's one of the people who I've listened to her talk, and she says, wake up every morning and look at yourself in the mirror, and if you're the only member of your team, then wake up and say, we're going to do this today. And she was like, pump your team up, even if you're the only person on your team. So don't feel like you're doing anything wrong if you don't have an amazing business builder already. I'm going to tell you this right now. I looked around GTC the first time I went. I looked around that whole room and I thought, man, it'd be awesome if all these people were on my team. And it would. But another thing I thought is, okay, well, I have Facebook. I've seen so-and-so signed up for this, so-and-so signed up for this, so-and-so signed up for this. Everyone signed up for something. People are looking for something else. People are looking for an alternative to what they have in their reality. People are looking for a way to make more money. So the thing is, somebody is signing up today who's going to become a regional vice president. Somebody's going to sign up this week who's going to become a national vice president. They're signing up after all of us are already signed up. And we could get there before them. We could get there at the same time. But the fact of the matter is, they will make it work. People are going to continue making this work. There's no reason that can't be you. And that's just something I've thought about a million times. Like, you can say it doesn't work, you can quit, you can do a lot of things, but someone is going to continue making it work, so why not you? But anyways, that was some extra little gold that came to my mind. But really, especially, I know we say this all the time, but I can't tell you how many newly promoted VPs will tell you that the key to their promotion was personal growth. They'll say, I didn't take it seriously, and then finally, once I did, it was just like I'd promoted just like that. And in the times when my business has been the strongest, I have been doing the best with my personal growth. So definitely I had a list at some point. I'll try to get that posted sometime in the next 24 hours or so. But I have a list of books I mean, ask people for books for Christmas. Ask for books for, I mean, anything. I can't get enough of this stuff. I don't know about you, but personal growth will make you more confident in the business plan and the business model and network marketing, and it'll make you more confident in yourself. I know so much about network marketing now that it's like comical to me that people haven't figured out that it's like the most brilliant plan in the world. So get that. That way you can kind of feel more confident and you know that you do really have something to offer somebody instead of just me telling you that you have something to offer somebody but you don't really get it yet. It'll help you a lot, and it'll make you feel more confident in the people that you talk to. It'll help you sponsor up, maybe sponsor people who you think have plenty of money, but you'll be more open to who you talk to. So anyways, it's not easy. If it was, everyone would quit. I think Chris Weiler had one other thing I was going to read too, but it'll be totally worth it. Oh yeah, no, not that. Okay. What comes easy won't last. What lasts won't come easy. It's called Entrepreneur, Be One, and Write Your Story. So, I mean, I can't really say it any different than that. What comes easy won't last. What you work hard for is going to be like the residual income and everything that you work really hard for. So, oh, this thing's trying to count me down. I guess I talked a long time. Anyways, that is all that I have on the notes. So don't quit. Stay in the trenches. Even after a bad day, just tell yourself you got to keep going. Just keep up your consistency. Keep up doing exactly what you're doing. That's all it takes, is just to keep going on the hard days. Close the back door. Keep looking forward. Keep pushing forward. And I promise you, it's going to work. We've seen the evidence of that too much to be able to ignore it and pretend it's not there. So anyways, this hopefully was just a little motivation, because there are some of you just on the verge of promoting and all of that, and our team's kind of growing, so it's getting exciting. But anyways, that's all I have for tonight. So I'll talk to you guys later.